All right, guys, we are late. We're late today. I'm sorry, guys. We started late. We had some stuff we had to work on, but markets are kind of interesting this morning. We got SanDisk, MU, and specifically Nvidia pulling back a decent amount on circular financing fears. Nvidia is down to 219s, or hit 219s earlier this morning. Bond yields are at decade highs. 2-year treasury yield is elevated. It's currently at 4.18% today. Down a little bit this morning, but up over the last few days. We had the president say this yesterday. Let me make sure you guys can hear this.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, we control it. We control it with the blockade. We have a blockade. We control it with the blockade. And I like the idea of declaring it a territory.
So the president said that yesterday. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. Yeah, you can. So the president said that oil is still pretty high. It's at $84 a barrel. Got up to almost 85s last night. But yeah, the big story, I think, honestly, is memory and SanDisk pulling back some here. If you look at markets right now, here's SanDisk. So look at, here's oil, actually. So oil at 84s. Here's SanDisk. We are at 1700 right now for SanDisk. It's pulled back substantially. Nvidia dipping down to 220s. And this is after a lot of stuff like oil's high right now. Memory names are pulling back. Here's MU. MU is pulled all the way back down under 1,000. SanDisk is down. SK Hynix is down. The Kospi dropped, I believe, like 2.5% last night. Here's SK Hynix is down as well. Another story is the SpaceX bounce. You know, SpaceX has been bouncing up, but it's pulling back as well today. So maybe a little risk off sentiment this morning. Market's a little bit nervous, maybe because high bond yields. But yeah, right now we're getting a little bit of a pullback. We did have Home Depot earnings, I believe, earlier. I don't know if they're out yet. They might be coming out today. The president apparently about 10 minutes ago posted an image designating the Strait of Hormuz as, quote, new U.S. territory. Let's see what that looks like. And again, this is after members. Yeah, so the president just posted this. All right, about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. So he posted this right here. New U.S. territory, the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, I mean, oil's up, but it's not really reacting. NASDAQ's not really reacting here. You can see the NQ this morning. I mean, the NASDAQ has pulled all the way back down under 30,000 today. So what do you guys think? Will the Strait of Hormuz be new U.S. territory? Let me say hello to everybody. What's up, SpaceX, Bull, Zeke, Ava, Proxy, Steve, Joe, Old Hack, Cho, Jonathan, Saudi, Peak, Doc, Rami, Max, Brent, Edson, UE, Core Temp, Dush, Enoch, I think I said Rami already. Faye, hello, Techie, Knights, Craig, Jay Violet. There's a lot of Friday quotes I could use with the name Craig. Solar Winds, Jonathan, Pew, Dave Down Under, Shake and Bake, Ashan, G-Man, Blue Lightning, Max. I think I said Max. Yeah, Faye, that's my wife's emoji. It's old. Yeah, I've had it for a while. I've probably had it for a few years. Matthew, Jay Violet, CPJ, hello. Dumb Money, Andreas, what's up, dude? Keep going. Blue Lightning, Darkage, what's up? Shadow, HBK, Rooftop, CPJ. Good News. I think I said Vegas already. Bogdan, ATT. Let me keep going. Daniel, Justin. I got Ram puts before yesterday's close. Hey, good luck, dude. Sutter Kane, Jack, Kurt, Frederick. Hello, Boo Boo Bear. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Phil, Win. How you guys doing today? Honestly, do you think we bounce back some today, or do you think we continue down? I don't know. What's up, Kay? How you doing, brother? Good morning. AJ, hello. But yeah, we got president posting this image. Again, I showed you guys this already. New U.S. territory, the Strait of Hormuz. Will it be new U.S. territory? I don't think so. I mean, obviously. I think this is just... I think this is just a little, like a little threat is what this is. We bounce back. No, we continue down. So you're saying we can visit the Strait of Hormuz. Oh, we can visit. You know, I mean, I might go escort a tanker myself. I just swim, is what I'm thinking. Steve is over there. I'm not showing him. Nah, that's too much. I don't feel like moving my camera. Sorry, bro. But again, the president posted this. Let me find it again.
I just think it's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, we control it. We control it with the blockade. We have a blockade. We control it with the blockade. And I like the idea of declaring it a territory.
So the president posted that. He essentially, the MOU, the 60-day MOU ceasefire expired yesterday. And the president essentially came out saying he was not going to, renew it, essentially, last night. We also had some members from Iran speaking overnight, essentially saying that they control the Strait of Hormuz. And so, yeah. But markets are a little bit nervous. I think NVIDIA news yesterday is making people a little nervous. But yeah, the president tweeted the Strait of Hormuz, a new American territory. Oil's still pretty high. It's at $84 a barrel. If we look at the Fed watch, so we do have the Fed minutes report tomorrow. And right now, we have a little bit higher odds that we're going to hike after more escalation, essentially, here. You know, essentially, it was 30% yesterday. Now it is up to 34.5% likelihood that we will raise rates next meeting. Let me know if you guys think we do. But I'm looking at chips this morning, man. Chips, NVIDIA, MU, SanDisk, all down a little bit today. NVIDIA down to 220s. Again, MU all the way down to 960s. SanDisk, which has been on a crazy run, hit 1800s, is at 1700s now, so it's pulling back some. But the rest of tech, I mean, Meta's down slightly, Google's down slightly. Microsoft was really weak yesterday. You know, look how bad Microsoft did yesterday. It was at 494s, it's at 480s. So Microsoft pulled back. And yeah, it's an interesting day. Good morning, traders and bag holders. Robot, bring me some coffee. This is going on for the next year. FFS could last longer than 2 years if Iran decides to mobilize. Trade you the answer for a like. The answer to what, bro? The answer to what? Oil sector is up. No fundamental change. This is just circular profit taking in what? What are you talking about? I'm assuming you're talking about semis and chips, memory. Yeah, I mean, we're getting pullbacks for sure. I mean, here's SanDisk. You know, it's dipping down to 1700s. We'll see what happens there, but we're definitely getting pullbacks. What's up, LV? Morning, guys. Bullish today. Back to yesterday's close. Yeah, yields, the other story. Again, this has to do with oil. It has to do with fears, but yields are at decade highs. We showed you guys this yesterday, and we'll look at it again. But if we look at like 2-year treasuries, right, and we go to all-time levels here, we are at 4.19%. If you pull up 10-year, it's even worse. But yeah, I think 10-year yields are even worse. Let me pull 10-year yields up. Yeah, if you look at 10-year and you go to all-time, you know, we haven't been at these levels since really like 2006, 2007 for 10-year yields. So yields are at decade highs right now. Decade highs. Software is kind of green in pre-market. You can look at like IBM and see slight green. You can look at ServiceNow and see slight green. But they had a really bad yesterday for software. So software has, you know, fallen quickly here. They've fallen quickly. But they're back a little bit today. I don't know if my optimism is back for software yet. Why is it always this 2007, 2008? Because that's the last time we had really scary, you know, obviously. Everybody knows that goes back to the 2007, 2008 mortgage disaster that happened. If anybody's ever seen the Big Short movie. But yeah, again, markets are just nervous here. NVIDIA down in pre-market. They say part of this is a $105 billion guarantee for OpenAI Ohio data center. $1.5 billion investment into SB Energy. Mark Cuban warned yesterday that AI financing could crumble the market. So basically, circular financing is reignited here. The fears around circular financing and AI names has been reignited some today. That's partly why markets are down. There's a lot of reason markets down. The president also said we will bond the blank out of them regarding Oman. Brent is at 90. WTI is at 85. 30-year treasury yields at decade highs. 10-year yields are also at decade highs. The VIX is up some from yesterday. And NVIDIA is down a little bit today. with heading into earnings. So Nvidia earnings are next week, I believe. Let me see what the actual date is. Nvidia earnings August 26th. Wednesday next week is Nvidia earnings. So we will see what happens. But yeah, a little bit nerve-wracking this morning. Markets are down. A little scary. Why can't people just be quiet and let us have a green week? We've had a green week last week, brother. Now we're back to red. That's how it goes. You get one green week, you gotta have one red week. You know, what goes up has to come down in this market. Michael Burry wiped a few sweat drops. Yeah, Burry's one of the ones that's the most happy about this. I think his short position in MU is what, like 940s. He's still red. You know, he's still not green in a lot of this. But you know, he's less red than he was yesterday. He's still green in a lot of names, though. I think he's green in like Caterpillar. He's green in AMAT, I think. He's green in what else is he shorting? He's definitely red in Nvidia. I think he shorted Nvidia like 198. He might have added to it, but 198 short. It's at 220 right now, so he's definitely red in Nvidia. Nasdaq was up almost 2% every day. Yeah, the Nasdaq had a great day, mostly driven by memory and a great week, mostly driven by memory news. But yeah, Home Depot expands fastest fulfillment and home improvement with nationwide express delivery across U.S. markets for small flat fee with no subscription. All right, so I'm gonna try to pronounce this correctly, but Iran's deputy foreign minister Garibabadi, I think I nailed it. Says, quote, just as Trump correctly wrote the name of the quote, just as Trump correctly wrote the name of the eternal Persian Gulf, his delusion regarding the Strait of Hormuz will soon be corrected as well. End quote. Iran's deputy foreign minister just posted that. But we did get some optimistic things as well, like the Qatari foreign minister spokesperson said the current effort is focused on defusing the current crisis and returning to the MOU, according to Al Arabia. We also had some other members there. I'll have to see exactly what they said, but they said essentially that, you know, maybe we're going to return to dialogue. Yeah, so again, Iran's deputy foreign minister criticized the president's position on the Strait of Hormuz, calling it a delusion that will soon be corrected. So more escalation today, man. It's a little bit more exciting than it was yesterday. Yesterday was kind of a boring day. And then we have Kevin Warsh next week at the Jackson Hole Symposium. He is expected to strike a neutral tone, which he really hasn't pivoted from later this month, according to Bank of America's August survey. 31% expect a hawkish message, though, in the Jackson Hole Symposium, signaling tighter monetary policy. Only 7% expect a dovish stance by Warsh next week. Yeah, and Jim Cramer. I saw some people mention Jim Cramer in chat. The Kospi, he said, quote, Kospi up big, then down, in charge of tech right now, and these prices attract no one in tech. Seems strange. I don't necessarily disagree with Cramer. I hate, it's not that I hate to say it, but I gotta preface this with, like, this is Jim Cramer. But, again, he did say some things. Hey, shout out to JK for the subscribe, my friend. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Hit the subscribe button. You can join our Discord as well. We got this cool little promo code up on our Discord as well. So, you know, make sure to check that out. But the Qatar Foreign Ministry spokesperson said the agreement of the Strait of Hormuz would make it much easier to resume the U.S.-Iran talks. So they're saying this regarding the Iran-Oman deal that is specifically on the table right now, and it's looking like it's going to get done, but we don't know. Again, Qatar says focus is returned to U.S.-Iran negotiations. Invitation is still open for the Iranian delegation to visit on pilot issues. Iran has not responded. And the Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesperson said our efforts in the current phase focus on stopping the escalation and returning the two parties to the crisis dialogue table. So that is what's going on in markets right now. It's looking bearish, though. No, I mean, what's your bias today? Is it bearish or bullish? It's looking bearish, obviously. We could fill the gap to the upside here. But, yeah. Strait of Hormuz. He's definitely red and nebulous. He's shorting Palantir, too. Is Burry shorting Nebius as well? NBIS? Is he? I don't know. Might be right. That's a bold move, though. With yields this high, I'm definitely not deploying any cash. Confidence in U.S. equities is rising, according to Bank of America survey. Looks like they keep selling everything over the 200. Yeah, I mean, we're right here. It looks weak right here. Now, a lot of this is going to depend on news and stuff like that this morning, but it looks weak, obviously. We're down a lot in the NASDAQ. So it's looking weaker for sure. 30K retest. Yeah, I mean, we're under 30,000 psychologically. I think that becomes a big level people are paying attention to. So 30,000 whole dollar number right here does make sense to pay attention to. I mean, we're a ways away from that. If the bearish sentiment and the bearish trend continues, I mean, obviously we're a ways away from that, but we could make a move up to retest that level, depending on what happens. But he shorted at 211s for Nebius. Did he really? I don't know. Maybe I missed that. He's definitely red on that. I sold yesterday my silver miners. Let's take a look at gold. Here's gold. Gold actually pulling back some today, but it's been hovering around 4,500s. Bitcoin, we can take a look at that as well. Here's Bitcoin US dollar. It is up to 64,310. So Bitcoin is up. Or no, Bitcoin is down slightly on the day. Yeah, 30,000 would be the 200 exponential. Shorting the biggest US memory company during this AI surge is crazy. It's not what I like to do. I certainly don't like to try to call tops. You know, and again, I said this yesterday, but Burry essentially, like, his entry was pretty spot on, though, in his memory shorts. Like, he shorted a lot of these names right at the top. You know, he did add to them, which affected his positions, obviously. But, I mean, look, he shorted MU at, what, like 1050 or something like that? Like, so he shorted MU up here. And he got it all the way down, like, you know, very large percentage down. You know, 20+%. And I don't know what he's in now. I don't know what his average is on MU. I think somebody said it's like 940, so he's still red, but he's less red now. It's a bear day. Let me do a poll here. Do stocks bounce back today? Or does the NASDAQ break 30K today? Does the NASDAQ bounce back and break 30K? Yes or no? Yeah. Does the NASDAQ bounce back today and break 30,000? I don't know. Let's see. Why does everybody care so much about him? I mean, it's just a relevant story in markets. If he's shorting the hottest sector in markets right now, people start to tune in. I mean, it's Burry, but he's also shorting memory right now, which obviously is huge. But yeah, gold. I mean, we'll see what happens this week. Next week's the bigger week, though. Oil's still at $84 a barrel. Brent's close to $90 a barrel. So we'll see what happens there on that front. But the NASDAQ does continue to look bearish here. And we're running into, I don't know what support level I had right here at about 725s, but I'm pretty sure, you know, this might act as some support right here at 725s. I don't know if I want to short again. I want to see what happens at the 200 exponential, but we will see. And again, this is after Iran's deputy foreign minister said, just as Trump correctly wrote, the name of the eternal Persian Gulf is delusion regarding the Strait of Hormuz will soon be corrected. But honestly, dude, like, I've covered this for, it feels like years. It's only been 6 months, but it feels like years. And to be honest, like, completely honestly, it all starts to sound the same at this point in time. You know, our side is like, hey, we control the strait. It's our strait. Their side is like, you'll never control the strait. It's our strait. You know? And that's basically what's happened now for a long time. You know, we control the strait. No, we control the strait, guys. And that's it. That's back and forth. All right, so I don't know if this is news related. Look at the NASDAQ jump here. But the NASDAQ just jumped up a little bit. Not a huge jump. Oil's not really moving with it. All right, so I might mispronounce that. Exomi says memory costs remained at historically high levels and consumer demand recovered slowly amid intensifying competition. Is this moving chips? Not really. Maybe we're just bouncing at that 975 level. Now, I'm tempted to short this now. And maybe I will. It hasn't been the best week for trading. Last week was much better. But I think we made a little bit of money yesterday. But I'm tempted to short this. Let's try. It's early. We'll see how this goes. We're right around the 200 exponential. I'm going to hold this a little bit longer and use a risk level of like 765. Are you looking at the same chart as me? We need a positive tweet. It doesn't even matter anymore. Burry would short the just wasting time so they could replenish ammo. Iran is begging for a deal. NBIS is moving up. Yeah, Nebius, it's made some crazy runs. But Burry shorting this around 200, that's a bold move. Why can't I trade until 9:30? What are you trying to trade, Judith? Depends on what you're trying to trade. But remember, data last week was optimistic. July CPI showed both headline and core year-over-year inflation easing. PPI data was also softer than expected. We have PCE data next week, the same week as NVIDIA earnings. So we'll see if that moves anything. But we have Jackson Hole Symposium, which I think is the bigger catalyst. We had July payrolls, notably weak, negative data here. We had negative numbers for July. Negative 33,000, 32, 34,000, I think. Includes sizable downward revisions as well in the last NFP report. So again, easing inflation, softer labor market. We have the minutes, but markets might ultimately look through it with all the stuff going on, honestly. I don't know if the minutes is going to be huge. Attention is going to remain on the Jackson Hole Symposium. Warsh is expected to speak. Most people are pricing in a dovish speak by Warsh. Or a hawkish speech, I mean by Warsh. Do you think he'll be hawkish or dovish in the Jackson Hole Symposium, Chad? What do you guys think? Yeah, I am on Tradeovate. Also, guys, just a heads up. I'll put this up on screen. Take Profit has a 50% off promo going on right now. And Take Profit's great. Really easy payout rules on Take Profit. So Take Profit is great. So if you want to check out Take Profit, we recently got funded in one of their accounts. 50% off right now if you use code BGT. I'll put that link up. I think you can use it 3 times. All right, so we'll probably start to scale out of this. We wanted to see if we would short the 200 exponential, but very small, less than $100. What else can I do instead? What platform are you on, Judith? E-Trade? Oh, I have never used E-Trade. I'm a TOS. I ride with TOS. That's what I learned on. If I trade futures, I trade Tradeovate, but I ride with TOS. Like, if you want to day trade, futures is probably the right move. And you can get started with futures with prop firms. It just makes sense. But, hey, I'm taking September off from trading. What about you? I don't take it. I mean, I don't take days off. But I think the bond market is really what's scaring people right now. Futures is more similar to day trading stocks, Judith. Options are much more complicated in terms of what you need to know before you get started. Like options, you got to know the Greeks. You have like time decay. You could sell options, which is kind of much more nuanced, and ultimately selling options can be incredibly risky. Yeah, so again, Take Profit just changed from 5 days to pass to 3 days. Uncapped payouts when funded over the daily buffer and 50% off. So Take Profit, if you want to buy a prop firm, Take Profit might be the right move right now. Wake me up when September ends. September's not here yet, brother. It's not here yet, dude. But that's a great quote to use right now. But it's not here yet. Do you guys think the minutes is actually going to move the markets tomorrow? I don't know. Options aren't a scam, dude. They're just like the benefit of options is that you can have like buying power is the benefit of options. Like you can get into positions that would normally cost a lot more if you were buying just straight up shares, but they're a lot more complicated and there's a lot more restrictions. Not restrictions, there's a lot more conditions that have to be met for you to be profitable, right? So there's pros and cons really in options. I like options in the right situation. Selling options is good. The problem with selling options is that most of the time you'll make money if you price them right. Like most of the time you'll make money selling options. The issue is that if you have like, okay, if you sell somebody a call option, stocks can go up an infinite amount. And so if you sell somebody a call option and you pick the wrong one and it starts to run, you're gonna be on like you're gonna be on the hook for however much that thing runs up, which make them inherently more risky than buying options. Are options more risky than futures? I wouldn't say either is more risk than the other. I think options, you just have to understand that there's a lot more conditions. I would not sell options right off the get-go. I would learn options first if you're going to learn it. Futures is better for like mirroring day trading stocks. Like day trading the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, commodities. Like that's generally the right situation if you want to day trade, but maybe you don't have the buying power, you don't want to risk $2,000 or $3,000, which you're going to need if you're going to day trade options. Most of the time it's a couple grand, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. If you want to get started for much less, you can use prop firms. Options are good if you know you have to know what you're doing. Yeah, again, the president, sorry, I bought my mic. The president put this out a few minutes ago. New U.S. territory, the Strait of Hormuz, Persian Gulf. So, oil didn't really react, though. Interesting enough. Here's oil. I mean, he put this out, what, like 10 minutes before I started the stream? I have to switch over to a new contract for oil. Yeah, it's a little bit better. But oil didn't really react too much to this. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Sorrel? How you doing? Is John vaping? Yeah, and listen, I said this yesterday. I feel like the same people ask me the same thing every day. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Like I said, I found out a friend passed away, recently. And it's been tough, man. It's been tough. I'm trying. Don't mess with me about it today. A couple people tried to troll me yesterday. They got booted. They got sat in the corner. So don't mess with me about it. You'll get booted quick. Dove. Sell calls on John's vaping. Hey, listen, I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying. All right, so let's look at a 5-minute chart, I think. Obviously, we're still down a lot. I mean, I think if we get over like 770s, maybe we'll have some room. But until we get over there. Yeah. Good morning, meditate, sitting in the corner. But market is down. Yeah, look. Stress. We're trying. We going down more or rip up today? No, you're good, Judith. You can ask as many questions as you want. That's what we're here for. Again, NVIDIA did reportedly scale back its OpenAI data center Ohio plans, which kind of eased some circular financing concerns, but circular financing fears are still here, I think. Here's NVIDIA. Down. MU. Down. SanDisk. Down. I took off from work, took 2 minis and 6 micros on the NASDAQ. Hey, good luck. Be careful. Be careful. Yesterday, it started off really poorly in terms of market direction. We're down 29,760s. Wait, what did we do yesterday? Yeah, yesterday the market was absolutely terrible most of the morning. We started to actually trend at about noon and break down some. And really, like last night, the NASDAQ and others started to fall more. Kospi index started to fall down as well. So, but again, this is mostly memory related. Again, SK Hynix, MU, SanDisk, Nvidia as well, down to 220s. Was almost to 230s yesterday. You know, yesterday before the open, it got up to 228s basically. So, pullbacks there for sure. Yeah, the opening bell wasn't good yesterday. Nvidia might have been good, but the opening bell was kind of rough. Nvidia trended well though. What do you guys want to buy today? Do you guys want to buy memory? Are y'all bullish in memory still? I'm bullish in memory. I'll take the counter Michael Burry trade. Like I don't hate memory right now. I think memory is still relatively cheap. But more questions regarding the Middle East. Again, yields are up at 10-year highs. President coming out saying, you know, coming out with the image of new U.S. territory, the Strait of Hormuz. Iran coming out basically saying, no, that's not true. Again, basically mirroring all the other stuff we've seen. Maybe I could have held this short a little bit longer. But really, we're looking weak on the day, but the NASDAQ is sideways over the last few minutes, moving in a range. Hey, what's up? What's up, Kato? John, do you hate Burry? No, honestly, I think Burry's actually really smart. I think he's a little scored by the system, by the man. So he sometimes makes some bad plays, but I think generally he's pretty smart. And again, he'll hit me with his wallet if he needs to. I mean, he's worth way more than I am. Do you love or hate Burry? I don't know if I have to be either of those two. I'm pretty neutral. I mean, if he does good, I'll give him his flowers. If he doesn't do good, I'll say it. But the NASDAQ started to dip back down at 29,470s. What's the oil doing? The SpaceX rebounded today as well. SpaceX has had a couple good days. Yeah, oil's not really moving. Do you like or dislike Burry? Put it up in chat right now. That's a good question. Put like or dislike if you don't like him. Let's hear it. Burry is always early. Fear and greed index is still in greed. Burry sucks. 9:30 after retail has made its moves. Do you like or dislike Burry, guys? Let me know. Like, dislike. What happened to the Dow today? I like Burry. I dislike him. I dislike him. Early Burry. The early Burry gets the worm, I think. Is that a bad joke? Is that a dad joke? Is it too early for dad jokes? Like for sure. Neutral. Can't stand them. If I want to be in the market before 9:30, I need to do futures. You don't need to. You can trade stocks. Just depends on the platform. You use EXT orders in stocks. If you want to buy in pre-market, just use an EXT and limit order. You have to use a limit order and EXT orders in pre-market. Don't judge my dad jokes. Buried. Do you still think AI will replace software? Yes. I mean, we're still going to have software. It's not going to replace all of software, at least not initially, but it's going to eat. I mean, it already has, and it will continue, I think, to slowly chop away at software companies. I mean, again, you got to look at it in two different ways. Number one, it's exponentially easier to create it. Maybe exponentially is not a good word. It's way easier to create software now. Way easier. It's way easier to get AI to build the same things that you used to have to pay for in software as a service, SaaS, right? So you used to have to pay, like if you wanted a software, you used to have to pay a subscription for it, and you still do in some ways. But the thing about AI is that it makes building those type of things without needing to pay a subscription substantially easier is the problem. And now this isn't going to completely wipe out software, but it's certainly going to thin it out. And we've seen that already. That's why software names have gotten absolutely hammered over the past few years. Is because it's certainly going to weed out some of these software names. Can't say I like or don't like. I find him an interesting specimen. Yeah, that's kind of how I am, Alistair. AI still makes crap code. You still need to fix it. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Claude makes pretty good code. Speaking of that, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but just to like weatherman it really quick, like look at this. Claude built me this morning. So, you know, I don't have to pay a subscription to build this for me now. Look at this. You can scan this with your phone and join our Discord. I'm not saying you should do it. You might want to try it. I don't know what will happen if you go to this right here. But yeah, Claude built that, and Claude is genuinely pretty solid. Is it perfect? No. Don't you think people that do software now are the ones that will build it? What do you mean, Goodard? But don't you think the people that do software now are the ones that will build it? Are you talking about building AI? Or are you talking about building software? Claude is the best beast. I've developed a market maker bot that's profitable today, a full indicator suite on TradingView, and I'm developing an AI assistant. Yeah, for sure, digital. Taking me to John's GoFund. Hey, shh. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. What's the return on investment of building these software platforms from scratch? It's not just about writing code. What investment? You know, like look. Yeah, you got to pay a subscription services for AI, but it's easier to do it that way, and it's cheaper generally. Like, instead of having to pay a subscription for each software that you have, you can pay one subscription for an AI system like Claude, and then build whatever software you want from it. And that's the nature of the problem for software, is that, like, yeah, you're gonna have to pay for AI in some instances, but you're gonna centralize it to one versus having to pay numerous SaaS subscriptions. And so that's the issue, is that, like, okay, prior to AI, I could pay a subscription for a software to do this and pay a subscription for a software to do that. Now I could just tell Claude to do it and only have one subscription that's cheaper, right? Like, that's the nature of the problem. And Claude is free in a lot of ways. It runs out of compute fast though, really. And you got to pay more if you want more, but still. So I see somebody asking, what's the difference between a future and a perpetual? So futures, I mean, perpetuals are a type of futures, just to clarify. Perpetuals, as the name suggests, don't expire, you know, meaning like in regular futures, like what I usually trade on this stream, they expire quarterly. You have to switch the symbol out and expire quarterly. And so what it means is that you can't really hold long-term because they expire quarterly. Now you can do some things to equal long-term holds in futures, but they expire quarterly, right? Versus perpetuals, which again, as the name suggests, don't expire. And so you can take longer-term trades, depends on what you're trading, and more if you're trading perps, but you don't think Anthropic will have their own robots with the 2 trillion IPO? I think eventually a lot of these AI systems are going to have, you know, robots. That's a ways out, but I think that's the next step. Gold jumped? Let's take a look at gold. I mean, jump is a strong word. And I mean, coming from somebody that uses strong words on everything, you know, I don't know if we jumped. I think we're mostly sideways in range. Yeah, I mean, look, I can't criticize anybody. I say everything jumps, rips. We'll have a 0.0001% move, and I'll say, look at this rip. So I can't say anything, all right? I'm not, you know. What do you think of Meta? I like Meta. But I do not like it over the last year. But maybe it means it's cheap down here, really. So it might be cheap long-term right here. It's not risk-free, though. I'm kind of like, I like it. I think it's somewhat cheap down here for Meta, but it's not risk-free. There's obviously risks here with Meta. It's diversified as a company. Zuckerberg is known to spend a lot, though, and sometimes burn money. And so that's one of the issues, I think, with Meta long term. Just looking at behavior patterns, like, over the past few years. But generally speaking, I think it's relatively cheap down here. I think, it's had longer term downward trends. It's pretty decent away from all-time highs, and it's a good company that makes money. So I like it, but there's an asterisk next to it. Like, it's not risk-free. Somebody use my promo code today on Discord. You see this link right here? Somebody use it, make me feel better about it. I better see somebody join the Discord and be like, hey, I used your promo code. If not, I'm telling Claude. Nobody loves him. And really, we do have more news of strikes overnight. Saudi enemy artillery reportedly targeted densely populated villages, according to AI or Al Masira news journalist. Again, U.S. home prices rose 0.27% in July, essentially unchanged from a month earlier. It's a slow week, though, honestly, dude. We haven't had a lot go on this week. The VIX, if we take a look at the VIX today, it's still lower, but it jumped up a little bit this morning. Here's the VIX, 1570s on chip weakness. Yeah. Yeah, I have the link. I don't know if I have it in the bio. I'll put it in the bio. There we go. I'll put it in the bio for you guys. But the NASDAQ, again, another day of just flat, boring price action. NASDAQ is starting to move up a little bit here, though. Let's watch 29,800s. But we do have somewhat of a green candle here in the NASDAQ running higher. Yeah. So the NASDAQ did just jump up a little bit. Dare I say jump, it's a pretty small move. When you zoom in like this on a 1 minute chart, it looks big. But I mean, it's something. We're moving up a little bit. I don't see any news to really justify it. Again, U.S. home prices rose 0.27 in July, essentially unchanged from a month earlier, according to Redfin. I think somewhat this is chips moving back up, but not a lot. Oil actually fell simultaneously, though, which is interesting. I'm wondering if we're going to hear something. But not a big drop either way. $84 a barrel for WTI crude. See if it stays down. Meta will be 300s. Yeah, I'm covering that data at 8:30. It's not big data, though. It's not huge data. It's not really going to move markets, I don't think. But we'll cover it nonetheless. Again, this week's a little bit slower for data. We don't have that much. We got housing starts. We got the ADP data, like the jobs data, which I think will be interesting. It's the weekly jobs report from ADP at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. Labor market obviously has been really weak. We have housing starts as well at 8:30. Import building permits and more at 8:30. I'm curious to see what the ADP data is at 8:15. Oil futures are starting to head back up a little bit, though. Let's watch. But I don't know if this is really moving from... Where's gold? Gold's at 44.50s. I'm watching gold. Home Depot earnings. I don't know. I'm actually in Home Depot as a hedge. They posted 492 EPS. They expected 471. Revenue 47. They came in somewhat flat for revenue. but did better than expected for EPS. I'm in Home Depot. It is slightly green from this earnings report if you look at HD, but not a huge move either way, really. So, I mean, I'm in it. I hope it goes up. We had Klarna also report earnings earlier today. They posted a profit versus a 7-cent loss per share expected, and way better than expected. Not way better, but better than expected revenue for KLAR. But they're down pretty big. They're down to $16 a share right now. So. Home Depot beat. Consumer not as weak as expected. Yeah, revenue came in basically flat, but they beat. How's the stock market and yields both breaking highs at the same time? Well, we have a mix right now. Like, again, why stock market and yields are kind of moving up is because, I mean, we're in the middle of a conflict. Oil prices are elevated. $84 a barrel. That is boosting yields, number one. But we also have, memory names and other things in tech and AI running. A lot of spending going on in AI, boosting things. So, yeah, we just have, that's the reason. But again, yields are at 10-year highs. So, when do you guys think we're actually going to have lower yields, though? Again, we look at the Fed Watch Tool. The Fed Watch Tool does have about a 34% chance that we are going to raise rates next meeting. I still don't think we're going to. I think the CPI report and the inflation reports that we've gotten in the labor market, dovish, weak labor market reports are going to put a hold on hiking. And so I still think we're going to pause, but this meeting isn't until next month. Oil just jumped up, though. Jump's a strong word, but oil back up to 84.30s. Denver hubs are overpriced. Kind of looks like a grab. 2031, if yields at 6%, will you buy it, John? I'll buy some 6% bonds. 6%, I mean, is 6%. I'll buy it. I'm not going to put everything into bonds, but I'll buy a 6% bond. Here's SpaceX. Again, SpaceX still at 143s. I'm looking at this. 142s. Santander is going to sell U.S. denominated debt in 2 tranches. Duolingo upgraded at D.A. Davidson's. Abercrombie & Fitch downgraded at Raymond James. I haven't heard about Abercrombie in a while. They did their big crazy squeeze. Where's A&F right now? I always thought A&F was way too freaking high, dude. It never should have been anywhere near 200s. Do you trust government bonds? I mean, the U.S. treasuries? Yes. Bro, if U.S. treasuries don't pay out, we got a lot bigger problems than bonds not paying out, realistically. So like everybody's like, oh, well, what if they don't pay you? It's like, yeah, well, we got a lot bigger problems than your bonds not paying out, sir. 10-year yield goes up, bond prices go down. Well, yeah, because they have to adjust it. Again, I said this yesterday, but to understand bonds is important in markets. Prices have to get adjusted when new bonds are issued that pay higher yields. Why? Because nobody's going to buy the previous bonds that have lower yields if they're the same price. If you got one bond that's paying out 5%, just to give you an easy example. If you got one bond paying out 5% and another bond that's the same price paying out 6%, which one are you going to buy? You're going to buy the 6% bond, the 6% yielding bond. And so because of that, when yields go up and new bonds are issued, they have to reduce the price of the previous bonds to compensate for it, right? So they have to basically lower the price of the lower yielding bond so that people actually buy it. Because if not, nobody would ever buy. If they were the same price, they're always going to go with the higher yield, right? So they have to adjust it to be able to, make it even. And so that's how the bond market works. Oil in the 10-year will roll over soon. I don't know. It's high right now. It depends on the conflict. A lot of this is. I mean, the 10 years more pegged to, you know, real estate, but surely you can find something better to do with your money than lend it to the government. Yeah, I mean, it's just risk sentiment. If markets are scary, people buy bonds more. It's risk off sentiment. All right, so Nvidia and memory names still falling down some here. Here's the Nasdaq. Nasdaq at 29,730s. SpaceX also dipping down some. Hey, what's up, Sam? Yeah, I don't know where the laughing song is. Housing starts and building permits. Yeah, really what we have coming out in the next 2 minutes is the ADP jobs data, the weekly jobs report from ADP. It's not really the jobs report you want. It's not the big one that's really going to move markets, but it's something. So we do have the ADP jobs report coming out in about a minute and a half. It is the weekly jobs report. It's not a huge one. It doesn't really move markets, but we'll see what it looks like. We've seen a lot of weakness in labor data over the past little while. So we have seen some weakness in labor. It's the, what date is that, 8:15? It's the ADP weekly jobs report. It shows the average weekly job gains or losses all the week for ADP, which is a payroll processor. Usually their data is a little bit more accurate. It drops in about a minute. Hey, what's up, Mike? How you doing, brother? Britt comes on the show. I think he's going to start coming on the big streams. On slow markets, you know. All right, so here we go. We got 40 seconds. I don't know if this is going to move markets. If it comes in really low, it might actually help markets. I think if we get another weak jobs report, markets might celebrate. Yields might go down slightly from this report. Depends on how weak it is. They might not move at all. But 25 seconds until this ADP data comes out. Let's see what happens. But not a huge jobs report. You know, just transparency. Yeah, I would love that, Steve. I would love, you know. All right, here we go. We got 5 seconds. Let's see what the ADP data is today. All right, guys, so there's the report. Let's look at the NASDAQ here. They're usually a little bit later than other jobs reports and stuff like that. So bear with me, pun intended. Let's see if we can figure out what the data was. No movement here at 8:15, which is kind of expected. Again, not really a big jobs report. All right, so I don't see anything reflecting on the tape yet either. So let's see. But nothing on the tape yet. It's supposed to release right now. It comes out on Tuesday unless it's a Wednesday report. All right, so there's a drop in the NASDAQ here. Hold on. ADP data 9.5 thousand. Previous was 8.25 thousand. So it's essentially flat. We also had housing starts come out at 229K. Forecast at 250, a little bit weaker than expected. Canadian housing starts, but yeah, it showed up again. I'll put this up on screen. It showed up at 9.5 thousand for the ADP report. Again, not a huge, crazy big report or anything like that, but basically flat. Hey, thank you, John, for the subscribe, my friend. Hey, thank you, my friend. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the sub. I don't know why I don't hear the sound anymore for sub notifications, but hey, I appreciate you, dude. Thank you. 50% tariffs are due tomorrow. Nvidia at 220s. No, I'm not getting a new sidekick. Again, Britt came on the stream just out of his own, you know, choice, and he'll come on the big ones. Yeah, so again, not really any movement here, but the ADP jobs report 9.5 thousand. It was a little bit stronger than last time. I don't know if markets are going to like it as much, but again, ADP reported that U.S. private jobs increased by an average of 9,500 per week over 4 weeks through August 1st. Again, I don't know if this is necessarily anything that's really going to move things. It doesn't look like it is now, but oil, I mean, SpaceX just cracked some of these lows. Oil's still heading up. Oil's at 84.40s. Is this the low of the day on SpaceX? I think so. So SpaceX just broke the low of the day here. NASDAQ's still heading down some. Oil is starting to slowly creep up as well. 84.40s right now. But again, kind of flat price action on the NASDAQ. Kospi was down like 2.5%. Tomorrow is the FOMC minutes report. It's not an actual FOMC meeting. It's the FOMC minutes report. So it's like a detailed breakdown of like what they did in the last Fed meeting and why. And so it's not an actual FOMC Fed meeting. Warsh isn't speaking tomorrow. This is just a minutes report, which probably won't move markets very much, I don't think. I mean, we have a lot of rate fears right now. And so maybe it'll have a little bit more influence than normal, but... I mean, most of the drops are not from bonds. I mean, 10-year yields are obviously scaring things, but I think Nvidia, MU, SanDisk are just pulling back after running big. You know, circular financing fears are here regarding everything. Like I said earlier, Nvidia investing. Nvidia scaled back the Ohio OpenAI data center plans, but they did go, what, 105 billion. So more people are worried about just AI spending today. SNDK, SK Hynix, MU, Nvidia all down this morning. But we had reports overnight that Nvidia scaled back its plans to support the OpenAI Ohio data center project. So we had circular financing fears from that. But I think really we're just pulling back after a couple strong days in memory. Here's SanDisk at under 1700s. Here's MU under 1,000 now again at 965s. Oil still high. The president essentially said, you know, the president did say that he rejected re-signing the MOU essentially. Triple quadruple bottom. You didn't hear anyone talking about that because it ain't the bottom. I think the market's going to be red until we see the light at the end of the Hormuz Strait saga. My entire portfolio is red today. Even SanDisk is down thanks to Kospi profit taking over. Now, yeah, Kospi index dropped 2.5%. The Kospi index did drop 2.5%. I love you. You know, Maddie, you're looking a lot less fancy today. You know, you got to step up your game. Fancy Maddie. Or... Jack, where's your suit, bro? I love you, dude.
Love you.
Have a good day, buddy. Yeah, so again, the NASDAQ apparently... Hey, close the door, brother. Buddy. I call my son brother. Close the door, bud. I love you, dude. Brother. You better close that door. No, I love you, dude. Have a good day. No, my kid's school, I told you guys this yesterday, but my kid's school is making, on Mondays only, they're literally making my son wear like a suit on Mondays only. And so yesterday he came in here, he basically had a suit, looked like the Wolf of John Street. Today, no suit, he's just got a t-shirt on. Look at the NASDAQ though here, guys. Look at the NASDAQ. Still very sideways in range, but just popped over the 200 exponential. It went from chic to geek. Definitely chic to geek. the nuclear industry has the new AI tool according, apparently with NVIDIA backing, reporting Axios. A little slower today, though. I don't know if I want to short the 200 EMA again or what. The pre-market price actually has been terrible, though. Oil, pull it back a little bit. Got up to almost 84.5s. I'm tempted to trade it, but yesterday I did this as well. I didn't trade oil, but the news is just like... It's a real problem to trade in pre-market right now. Why is it a big problem? Is because you don't know if some news is going to come out. You know, I would say maybe 1 out of every 3 days, right in the heart of pre-market, you have some big market moving event in geopolitics that, you know, moves oil, moves the NASDAQ. And I think with that, it's really hard to trade in pre-market. Now, the 725 level that we had on our chart earlier is holding pretty well, and I'm tempted to short the 200 EMA. But the range isn't the best right now, to be honest. So we don't have the best range. We are kind of pushing towards lows of the day here. So let's see if we get some momentum. But so far, it's been difficult to trade in pre-market. Have you guys had a red or green week this week, guys? Let me know. Yeah, I thought my uniforms were bad as a kid. I couldn't imagine them making me wear a freaking suit. All right, let's watch the 725 level in the NASDAQ. $3K lost so far. Green. I got smoked this week. Yeah, I got smoked last week. This week I mean, I think I'm down still, but not a lot. Last week I didn't do good. Slightly red. Held by 12 Intel puts. Ended the day down 7,800. One and done this morning for me. Yeah, I mean, I think unless you're attacking ranges. I lost 2 evals yesterday. Hey, that's how it goes, my friend. That's how it goes, dude. All right, at 8:30 today, we do have, what do we have? We already had housing starts for Canada. We have building permits and housing starts for the US in 8 minutes. I'm in a short right now. I did jump in the NASDAQ short around the 200 EMA. I pulled a 5-minute chart up. We'll probably just hold this flat, but it's very small. We're at 725s. I just want to see if we can crack under that. Little bitty trade. But we'll take half off here. When do nano futures come out? Nano futures are supposed to come out sometime. I don't know when. All right, so we did break that low here. We're still in this, very small. Still falling down some. I don't know whether I should add to this or not. I guess I'll add a little bit to it, see if we keep falling towards these lows. Maybe add a little bit more. See if we start retesting that low down there. I might add on a rebound and just re-risk into this. Greed. They will suck just like single stock futures. I think people will trade nano futures a lot more though. All right, so we're still falling down some. We're getting close to the lows of the day in the NASDAQ here. Try to add to this, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. It's looking like we're starting to flush down. Again, this looks like it's driven by, oh, I was gonna say Nvidia. A little bit of Nvidia. Need to add more. We're trading really small here. I think I have to in pre-market right now, but we're pushing towards the lows of the day here. We do have housing starts and some other data coming out at 8:30. Housing starts, building permits, import price index, pending home sales later. Here's the NASDAQ bouncing back up. I think I'm gonna again add more to this. Take 6 contracts. See if we push back down towards the lows. I think we're close enough to the lows where even if we bounce around the lows, we still have some momentum down maybe. And if not, we can get out close to flat. This is barring any big news coming out. Seriously flirting with the idea to drop a bag on bonds. I mean, if bonds are up, bonds are up, you know. I mean, obviously, like somebody mentioned this earlier, I think there's easier ways to make money. But it's not pure easiness. Like, there's some risks. Yeah, I mean, we're in 6 micros right now. I want to see if we keep dropping, obviously. I think we could. There we go. I'll take half off there. See if we keep dropping more. Take another piece off there, and then we'll hold the last 2. See what happens on that front. Here's the data release in 20 seconds though, so I don't think this is going to move markets, but it could. All right, so here's building permits and housing start data in 15 seconds. 10 seconds. Now about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here's that. All right, guys, so housing starts showed up lower than expected, 1.239 mil. Building permits showed up higher than expected at 1.443 million. This did make the market bounce a little bit here, but again, housing starts 1.239 versus 1.34 million expected. Housing for July housing starts. Building permits 1.443 million versus 1.37. So stronger building permits. Let's see if this moves anything, but we did react a little bit to this, and now we're kind of breaking down some. Yeah, so we did get a pullback here, like a decent pullback. We're getting close to the lows here on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's almost out of 29.7. I'll take all of this off before 29.7. I'll take a little bit off here and just, again, slowly scale out of this short. We've made, you know, a good amount from it, so there's 700s. I'm going to get out close to here at the bottom, I think. All right, so we're out. We are nicely green on the day. We made a few hundred from that trade, so that's good. But yeah, the market's still, you know, pushing towards lows at 687. We're at 697. We're 10 points away. So let's see if we hold down here. But there's 830. Also, guys, remember, take profit has 50% off. They reduced the time it takes to get funded by, you know, to 3 days. Uncapped payouts as well. Once funded and over the daily buffer. So take profit cheap right now. Better rules than take profit. Code BGT will get you the discount. You can see the link here. Check it out. Yeah. Go Tigers, you know. Yeah. What are ways to make money? Probably the best way to make money is not lose it, I would say. You know, you can open up a lemonade stand, I think, as well. That might be nice. Gen Z apparently is gambling on poly market. Yeah, I mean, I think that market makes sense. You know, I think poly market is the future to a certain extent. All right, so we did bounce right at 29,700. It's a big whole dollar number. This is why we cut our position here. It looks like that was the right move. Again, prices fall. Housing mixed signals. Again, housing was mixed. Building permits rose 5%. Housing starts, however, went down 12.4%. So mixed housing data. I don't know if that's really moving things. Oil did fall. Like somebody mentioned this simultaneously, but oil's at the 200 EMA. Nvidia's still sitting at 220s. I don't know if I necessarily trust this. Hey, what's up, Jack? What are your favorite ways to make money, guys? Let me know. Depends on what your skills are, really. Like, yeah, it depends on what your passions are. You got to figure out. I would say, to give you an honest answer, like a non-sarcastic answer, realistically, the best way to make money is to figure out what you like, find what you're passionate about, and then monetize the hell out of it. Whatever that is. Figure out what you like doing. I like finance. We monetize finance. So figure out what you like, and then monetize the hell out of it. That's realistically, if you want to be happy in life, that's what you freaking do. Yeah, Goose. Yeah, Goose, don't you post like scary stories on the internet? I'm a big fan of scary stories. Yeah, you do. Yeah, figure out what you like. Monetize it. Be like Goose over here. He likes scary stories. He monetized. Lemonade stand IPO. Hey, I'm ready, brother. Thrift store retail. Alright. NASDAQ still flushing towards these low levels here. We're at 29,700s. Jake House, get a job, John. Listen, bro, I have almost certainly paid more taxes than you have, dude. So you get a job, bro, is what I'm saying. Again, Iran's foreign minister says the U.S. goal from the conflict is Iran's surrender, and we will not surrender. Adds, America is begging to negotiate with us now according to our terms. We also had the New York Fed services business activity at 0.5%. They expected 4.6%, so much lower than expected. It's BGT, Calvin. BGT is the code. Space Lemonade Technologies. You got to add AI in there, Nick. I don't know if Space Lemonade Technologies is really going to get the interest you're looking at. You know, here's an idea. How about AI Lemonade? You know? AI Lemonade. Sign me up. I'd buy it. It's not real lemonade, but you know, it's got AI in it. People are gonna buy it. I used to build a side hustle building gaming PCs, but parts got so expensive. Yeah, that MU, that Micron, that memory run. Are we gonna break lows of the day though here in the NASDAQ here? We're close. When life hands you AI, you make lemonade. Hey, yeah. It's kind of like Birds. I don't know if y'all remember the IPO Birds from earlier this year. I don't know if it's an IPO. But again, I laugh at the story because it's absolutely hilarious. NASDAQ getting really close to lows of the day. We're almost down there. We're at 29,695s. We're about to break lows of the day. The low of the session, the Asian session here for the NASDAQ. We're right at that low level now. But yeah, the company Birds used to make, you know, environmentally friendly flip-flops and shoes. And then they ran big, and they ran big because they pivoted to AI. And what a pivot, you know? Let's save the world. Let's make environmentally friendly flip-flops. You know what? Screw that. Let's get ultra rich and make AI. Hilarious. I don't think they held, though. If I look at Bird stock, it's BIRD. Yeah, it lost a lot of volume and interest. It's at 250s now. They basically came all the way back down. They had a good run, though. They went from 215s, pivoted to AI, went to $24 a share plus, back down to 250s. Yeah, not an IPO, I guess. They just said screw saving the birds. Story brings a tear to my AI. 11x, not bad. Hey, listen, you know, shit, I might pivot to AI. You know, it might be my time right now. You know what? Like, screw breaking market news. John's AI systems coming soon. NASDAQ did crack lows of the day slightly. I'll put a 1 minute chart up so y'all can see it a little bit cleaner, but slightly. We broke lows. We're rebounding right back up. Let's watch 29.700s here. It's kind of a higher volume area. Let's watch 29.7s. I think markets are watching 29.7s here. What are the withdrawal rules on the prop account? Which prop account? It's pretty vague. I remind you of Cheetah Dude. Bro, don't make me Google this, bro. Cheetah Dude. I don't know who that is. Chester Cheetah? You talking about the Cheetos guy? Is that me? I guess it is me. Again, Klarna, which had earnings today, says consumer credit performance improved again with delinquencies declining and provisions falling. All right, but we did bounce right at these lows. I'm tempted to short 29.700s. I just don't know if there's enough meat on this. It depends on which one, dude. There's numerous different props accounts. You know, so really it just depends on which one you're talking about, dude. Again, Apex has the cheapest accounts, right? So if you want to learn, Apex might be the right way. Take Profit right now, I think, is the good one, though. Take Profit recently, they're doing 50% off for a week. I believe it's for a week. They also went from 5 days to 3 days to pass uncapped payouts once funded and over the daily buffer. And so I think Take Profit right now is a good, you know, you got to go with which has the best sales. Take Profit right now might be the one with some of the good sales. You can see Take Profit link right here. If you want to check them out, you can use code BGT. You can also use it on Apex. All the links are in the description if you guys want to check it out. Hey, good luck, Greenlight. You can learn futures with Apex, and I would say Apex is probably the best one to learn futures because you can get an account for 15 bucks, Judah, on Apex. I mean, I'm biased. I get paid by them. I try to be honest with people, you know, like you got a lot of people in the trading space, and I get it. You know, a lot of them are making millions from props, from affiliates, and like, you know, they'll make some money in props and take withdrawals, but like, I'm trying to think of the easiest way to put this. Like, if you make $1 million in props, and then, you know, you make 100K in trading, and who knows how much they lost in props, right? It's really easy to kind of hedge, and so no, this is the second day you've asked for a free account. Sorry, bro. We'll do a giveaway later, though. FRB. I'd watch robots deliver news if they weren't actually politically biased. I'm not really politically biased. People think I am. I think both sides want to believe that I think both sides probably think I'm against them at this point in time. And I don't know if I'd rather any other way, I think I'd rather have it where both sides... I've said it once, I'll say it again. If I told you guys my actual beliefs politically, both sides would dislike me. And that's exactly where I want to be. That's exactly where I want to be. I'd rather both sides dislike me, you know. Because honestly, I think once you get to the top, it's all the same anyway. And like, you know, I said it once, I'll say it again. I don't get super involved in politics. It's just not, I don't feel like spending my life arguing about it. That's exactly what somebody who's heavily politically biased would say. Honestly, dude, I dislike both sides in a lot of ways. I think both sides are toxic in pretty equal ways, really. I'm a Trumper? I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people would probably disagree with you here. Hey, good morning, guys. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything. They're the same, yeah. You're saying your vote doesn't count? I'm a Bernie, bro. Yeah, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I mean, I'm neutral, guys. Don't push me. Alright, NASDAQ still at lows. Oh, I'm a capitalist for sure. I don't think the others... I mean, look. In history, I mean, if you look at Lenin, if you look at Stalin, I mean, it just never works. Communism never works. We could all sing Kumbaya by the fire. I've said this a million times. And say, hey, guys, we should just share everything. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that. Somebody's going to get power. And under communism, they're just kind of blindly given power most of the time. At least with capitalism, you have to work for it to a certain extent. Now, there's obviously flaws as well. But it just doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. Communes work when they're small. You know, when you have millions or billions of people, there's gonna be corruption. And so... And I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you trade stocks, you're a capitalist. You know, if you trade, which should be all of you guys, or invest, if you invest or trade, newsflash, you're a capitalist. NASDAQ back at lows here. We're back at lows. We're at 688s right now. We're right at lows. NASDAQ looks like it's going to crack lows again here. NASDAQ did just crack lows at 680s now. 685s. Yeah, for sure, Faye. I'm pretty neutral here. Really, like, there's some things I certainly disagree with around the president. There's some things I agree with. If you want me to be honest, I'm against big government, whichever it is. I don't care which side it is. I'm against big expanding government powers. That's the most politically thing you're gonna hear me say. Stock market will be crashed by the government. Bond prices must be saved. Yeah, we crack lows and then we immediately bounce back here. But at least we got better price action than we did the other day. Jamie Dimon has a shock warning, apparently. He said the U.S. dollar could lose its global crown in 25 years. He warns that the U.S. dollar could lose its reserve currency status within 25 years if America loses its economic and military strength. Dimon says the dollar's global dominance depends on the U.S. economic power, national security, and geopolitical influence. A weaker America could lead countries to seek alternatives. The dollar still dominates global reserves, but its share has fallen from 70% in 2000 to around 57% today, reflecting growing diversification. His message is clear. If the U.S. wants to keep the dollar on top, it must maintain its economic, industrial, and strategic edge. Again, yields are hitting 9-month high. 10-year Treasury yields 4.75%. It's the highest since 2025 as a global bond sell-off deepens. Inflation concerns, Brent at $90 a barrel, WTI crude at 84s, 85s. Making markets nervous. Again, housing starts were mixed. Housing starts should have been negative 12.4%. They expected negative 5.9%. Building permits were a little bit stronger. They're up 5%. But kind of back and forth here. Let's watch 29 700s. Yeah, thank you for trying to change this topic, Chavo. Again, like, look, I'm very neutral, meaning I dislike both sides. You know? Too hot button of topics. President needs to eat more salt. Bro, my wife puts salt in everything. Everything I drink. She's like sprinkling mineral salt in everything. Like sometimes I'll be really thirsty in the middle of the night and I'll get up and I'll drink the water next to my bed and it's salty water. It's like Gatorade without the good taste. Yeah, I'm watching 700s. I just want to see if we get out at 700s. Right now, I mean, we broke lows and we're starting to rebound back up. I'm tempted to short, but I also think we might have like a run up to 720s. John is a Trumper. I mean, look, guys. If I show you why I might not be, then y'all are gonna get mad at me for that. If I show you why, you know, so either way I go, I'm losing here. You know, so I'm just gonna respectfully decline to get into it. Budweiser with salt. Yeah, that's what her logic is, turd. All right, guys. So NASDAQ at 710s here, 710s. I like the phrase, AI won't take your job. Someone who knows how to use it will. Where's your hat? I don't know. All right, so here's the NASDAQ starting to get back up here. We got a little room on the volume profile. Once we get up to like 725s, I'm not really liking it that much. It's too flat. We have some resistance around here, though, and the trend is negative. We do have a downward trend today, so we got a little time. We short here. It's my limit order at top of 1 minute fair value gap. Are y'all long or short right here? I mean, the trend is short, but the extension is long. So we're down enough to where we could bounce back. I think we have some room on the profile too. Like, look, if you look at this room here, maybe we're gonna fill some of this gap up here. Maybe, I don't know. If we get back up here, I'm worried about just sideways chop. We got the 200 exponential right here, and so really, I'm just kind of sitting tight here. Only capitalists go long. I've been shorting all day, bro. I've been shorting all day. All right, so now look at the NASDAQ. I don't know if this is news. That's a big move up, though. I mean, we are at the low area of the volume profile, like I said. So let's check. but I don't see anything really. Could just be low volume profile area, quick move. We do have this level at, what is this right here? This is at 725s. I almost want to short 725s right here. If we can get up to 725s, maybe I'll short. Depends on how fast we get up there. But maybe I'll short at 725s. We are green on the day now. Short the dead cat bounce. Were you old enough to vote in 2012? I was 2. You know. Yeah, we got to get up to 725s for my short, though. If I get it, I'm looking at 725s, risk level of like 740. Maybe like a little bit higher. I could probably do 745s. But realistically, I think we might also drop before that. I am watching the 200 exponential, but I think 725s might be a resistance level. We just got to get up there. I think we might run into resistance here. I'm looking at 725s, though. I don't know if we're going to get it. Here's 725s right here. I just don't know if we're actually going to get that or not. There's a drop. We're almost at 9 a.m. We'll see if the 9 a.m. data brings anything. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get it, Max. I'm looking for it. Yeah, I'm going to respectfully decline any political questions here. I'm not really, you know, I'm not really getting into it, really. I've opened up a can of worms. I can feel the chat pouncing on it now. Alright, so there's a drop. We did get a drop before 725s. I would have shorted it. Oil's actually jumping up a slight bit here. ByteDance draws over 30 billion in orders from jumbo bank loan, apparently. I'm tempted to short this now, but maybe it's a little greedy here. That's too big of a bounce. I don't know. I don't hate these retests. Where we put in a high, we drop quick, we bounce back up, and then we continue down is the logic here. But I don't know. I think I'm green on the day. I got to be careful. 700s might act as support. I don't know if that's enough profit to really get excited about. So we got the Fed minutes tomorrow. Just plead the fifth every question. I respectfully choose not to answer that, DX. Respectfully, you know. Chat's ridiculous. Y'all are funny. I'm looking at yeah, 720 held though. Oil's pretty flat on the day. All right, so there's 9 o'clock in two and a half minutes. Where the buy or sell go butts. Yeah, Jason, it's probably my fault. Still tempted to short this, guys. Feel like I might miss it, but I really wanted 725s here instead, and I think I have to be strict. I wanted 725s, we're at 712s. Gold. Gold's very flat too, not really moving. The Saints are going to do it this year, Faye, I believe, you know. Even though they lost a few days ago. We're not going to talk about that. It's preseason, you know. What do we know? ECB's line says that easy inflation being 1 percentage point above the ECB's 2-point target is a lot. All right, guys, so less than a minute before 9 a.m. We'll see what kind of orders go through at the bell. Still a little quiet, but we have been breaking lows most of the day. I believe it's Shuck as well. All right, so here's 9 o'clock. We got 40 seconds. $7.15s. All right, so here we got 10 seconds until 9 a.m. Hey guys, respectfully, let's not argue about politics in the chat. It's not worth it. Both sides. Y'all both say something nice about the other one, and then let's end this. All right, so here's 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock just happened. We don't really have any movement at 9 o'clock like we normally see. There's 9 o'clock. I'm still tempted to short this, though. Yeah, how about this longer short right now? That'll change the topic. Gold actually falling down a little bit though. Look, here's gold. Not a lot, but some. Cutter says want an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and establish a ceasefire simultaneously. Efforts are focused on containing the crisis and bringing Iran and the US back to the MOU. NASDAQ is almost up there to that 25 level we want. Maybe we'll short it if we get there. Don't short the bull flag. What's your time frame for this bull flag? You mean this little guy right here? Is this the bull flag you're talking about? This little guy? There's 725s. I'm doing it. We'll add something to it up to maybe 730 and then we'll cut it. I just want to see 725 reject is what I'm looking at. I want to see if 725 pulls it back. There we go. 725 did pull it back. Honestly, I wish I would have got it a little bit more, but that's okay. There we go. All right, we'll take half off here at the bottom of the range, and then maybe add some more if it continues to break down. I can add some size back. I think I probably need to. Very small. I'll add a little bit more here. Hold it break even. 725 was such a strong resistance level. And we're up a few hundred on the day, I think, now, but what I'm worried about is this range holding too tight. It's very small. Like, we're taking little base hits here. My trading style is to make like a bunch of little $50 to $100 trades a day, but we trade often. And so 700s would be the ideal profit target on the rest, but now we're break even. We cut another piece. Yeah, I'm just gonna get out here. Why is this a level here? You can see number one, I drew this level yesterday or the day before. So this 725 level is not just a short-term support level that you can see on the chart, right? Like 700, 725 here. I mean, it held support today, but it's also a longer-term level. Yeah, we could have wrote that down more too. Short at 725 would have worked really nice. But the point is, this is not just a short-term level. If you zoom out here, 725 has been not even, you know, it's been a level longer term as well at 725s. So if you look here, right, like look back here and look at 725. So I like looking at $quarter numbers, but I also just look for confirmed isolated support and resistance. And so it's kind of a mix of both. It's 25 level, it's a confirmed support or resistance longer term, it's confirmed support or resistance short term. And so essentially what you do when you see a level like that is like, we have a trend. As we move up to retest that level, we kind of short back in and attack this range. Now this is a 30-minute chart, right? So it looks small, but if we put up a shorter term chart, like a 5-minute chart, it's just a little bit more isolated, and you know, we have this little range to capitalize on. Now we might bounce at 700 if we don't continue the downward trend, but this little pocket is what I was looking for, from 725s down to 700s, and we mostly got it. But I hope that makes sense in terms of support or resistance here. Yeah, I need to buy a new mouse visual for sure. And look, now we're at this 700 level, which again, if you look at my levels, does act as kind of support or resistance, at least short term. So like, look at exactly where we go down to 700, we bounce a little bit. Even if we continue down, you know, this you can see 725s, 700s, confirmation in both of those levels short term. So it just means people are watching these levels. Even if we continue down, we have confirmation in the 700 level, big hold dollar number. So, and ultimately we're in a downward trend, right? So that is the explanation of that trade. Rejecting right at 725s down to 700s. I don't know what we're going to do now. I think we could go either way here. We could chop sideways, or we could start to rebound back up. I'm not sure. Now we're back testing that 700 level. We'll see if this level holds. Does the Clarity Act get passed this year? I think the odds are no. Again, Senate delayed its vote. August recess is now here. Third scheduled a procedural cloture vote September 15th. So it's looking like no. It's looking like no. And speaking of Bitcoin and the Clarity Act here, we're at 64,000s. So, I mean, Bitcoin bounced back. It was at 63s yesterday. It's bounced back a little bit, but I don't think so. You know, I personally don't think so. But again, are y'all bullish or bearish in this price action today? It's bearish day for sure so far. And we're close to lows. Memory names correcting. SanDisk, SK Hynix, MU, all pulling back a little bit. We're now under 700s here, but I don't like this range as much. Too many times we move down to lows and then we have like a big run and fake people out. So I like this range. It kind of catches weakness at this level. Yeah, it avoids liquidity grabs. Usually if we fake out a low, we're a little bit closer to the low. Like sometimes, like I said, when we fake out a low and do like a liquidity grab at these levels, more of the time it goes down to like here. Like it's really close and then boom, we get a bounce. Or it actually breaks the lows and then boom, we get a bounce, kind of like here, right? Like this is exactly that. We break lows, we rebound back up immediately. There's a little window here in between this though. Like there's a window where, you know, we could move down to do it, and that's the window we tried to capitalize earlier. We could also just trend down here, but you know, liquidity grabs are a problem if you target the lows too aggressively. But we're still looking weak here this morning. We're still starting to break down. Let's see if we get close to these lows and then grab liquidity. We got 20 minutes until the opening bell. Nasdaq's getting close though. It's under 700s now. You guys up or down today? I'm green. We've made money mostly this morning, but gold just got close to some of these. Gold, look at this. Look at the support level in gold here. So look at this. We're at. We've confirmed this. What level is this? This is 443, 440, 445. We've confirmed this level about 5-6 times this morning. So we're heading back to that level in gold now. So we'll see if gold holds, but when we zoom out here, this is the low of the session. Gold has been in a completely flat range though. Here's the S&P. I don't know if we've looked at that today. It's weak as well. Again, MU, SanDisk, SK Hynix all looking a little sketchy. 680 looks like a good entry point. Nvidia is still kind of slowly breaking down around 220s. Hey, remember guys, Take Profit does have 50% off right now. They recently adjusted their rules. So again, if you want to help support the channel, Take Profit might be the way this morning. Again, they changed from 5 days to past to 3 days. Uncapped payouts once funded and over the daily buffer. And 50% off. I believe the 50% off is for about a week. And so if you want to check out Take Profit, here is the link for that. It's a great way to help support your boy here in this channel. You can also see it pinned at the top of the chat. I like sales, fill the last fair value gap, and tap the trend line. You know I trade futures. I tried to type /MU in there. But the NASDAQ getting close to that low level again. I don't necessarily like a low of the day test here. I mean, I think it could work, but there's also too high of a chance that we like liquidity grab at this low and then rip back up here into the opening bell. So I'm just waiting. What's your strategy right now? Let's see if 700 rejects us now. So we're almost back up to 700. That could be a rejection, but it could also be that liquidity grab we talked about earlier where we get close to the lows and then everybody gets short and then those shorts get squeezed out and we rebound back up, gaining liquidity from it. That's possible. Hey, what's up, bro Max? What's up? Chip, you're on a short leash right now, bro. I had to look at the history of your chat and see that, you know, in some ways you were kind of toxic. $760 or lower on the spot today. Yeah, I mean, we're right on. I mean, we could. S&P's been a little bit more resilient than the NASDAQ being so tech heavy in the NASDAQ. Honestly, kind of favor your price action or your strategy. I think, like, look, does it work every time? No. But I think if you find isolated support and resistance, right? Like isolated, like you got to remember, technical analysis is self-fulfilling. It works because people think it works, right? And that's fine because it works a lot of the time. And so what you want to do when you look at a chart is you want to look at what's obvious. This is obvious low right here, obvious level. So where do we rebound? We rebound right here. Obvious level up here at 725s now. Obvious level right around that previously. And so you're looking for what I call isolated levels, because those are the most watched, especially in short-term charts. And you do the same thing in long-term charts. You find the most obvious levels, the most isolated levels. Usually the right move is to trade with the trend. It just depends on how extended it is. But usually the right move is to go with the trend, figure out what the trend is doing. And, yeah. We're at 697s. Again, I'm worried that we're going to get some type of like grab of liquidity here and head back up. We're still struggling at 700s here though. 15 minutes until the opening bell. Liquidity problem, entering too early, exactly my issue now. Alright, so there's another rejection around 700s, but this is a larger, you know, move down. Let's see, not a larger move down, but that's a red candle for sure in the NASDAQ. Again, right now we're just chopping sideways. But yeah, industrial production is what just dropped. It showed up at 0.2%. They expected 0.3%, mostly flat though. Manufacturing production was basically flat. Industrial production was a little bit weaker than expected. But a lot of these drops are not from this type of stuff. They're from like Nvidia coming down. You know, Nvidia and memory names have been fading a little bit. 220 is a level on Nvidia though I'm watching. SanDisk is starting to pop back up a little bit. MU is still looking kind of weak as well though today. But a downward trend has been what's been profitable today for sure. Hey, what's up, Patrick? Hey, what's up, Tiny? Good morning, good morning. This ugly price action. I mean, at least we have a trend. It's better than yesterday's in pre-market, honestly. Maybe I'm just biased because I lost money yesterday. But the price action's better than it was yesterday. Like, at least we have a trend that's been easy to attack. The trend has been somewhat easy to capitalize on. Surprising those Michigan numbers affected the market. All right, buy Chip. I mean, you're good, Chip. You know? What did you say yesterday? You said off stream he tells his kids he hates them. On stream it's all love. I mean, you could joke, you know? That's a bold joke, sir. Yeah. Nasdaq at 690s. 690s. Do you think SanDisk and MU would rebound this week? I don't know. I mean, they could. We don't know. They're up big and down big. So they certainly could. I'm going long on oil. I think 87 is doable within the next 48 hours. You're basically betting on escalation, though, if you think, oil's going to hit 87 in the next few days. I mean, you're not wrong. It could. I don't know if it's going to, though. It just depends. If we follow the trend of the last few days, we have had more escalation, less harmony, more drama. And so maybe. But 87's, high, obviously. Hey, what's up, Meat? Chip, you're cool, man. Like, look, don't joke about like stuff like that. Obviously, you're good, dude. I mean, I try not to ban people. I'm really hesitant to ban people. I don't like banning members of the community. So you're good, dude. Now sit in the corner and think about what you've done. All right. I'm out at break even. Chill until 9:30. Yeah, I like the Office Space quote. Yeah, I mean, what would you guys do with $1 million? I'll tell you what I'd do. All right, let's see if we can get over 700. 700 is still a resistance level. Let's see if we hold. Even when I call you big head, John, listen, bro. There's a correlation between having a big head and intelligence. All right, I'm not saying I'm super smart like Jimmy Neutron, but hey, I'm not saying it either. Pay your water bill, bro. Do you know how much my water bill was this month? Like, I actually had to kind of get on to my wife a little bit. My water bill this month was $1,200. $1,200. I looked at it, I was shocked. $1,200. You know? $1,200. I could build a pond and fish with that. Yeah. Honestly, it was $1,200. And I know what you're thinking, like, John, are you operating some type of dolphin utopia in your backyard to save the dolphins? And again, I don't know, maybe. Maybe I just haven't found the pond yet back there. But $1,200. All right, guys, so market on open data is in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Bro, that fact woke the chat up. Are you opening a data center? Honestly, I could with that kind of money. All right, so the NASDAQ did bounce up after getting close to these lows. We're over 700 now. We have 2 minutes until the market on open data. We'll see if that moves anything. Yeah, I was not happy when I looked at it. I mean, that's hard to justify. All right, so the president and the UAE president apparently discussed the region in a phone call, according to local press. NASDAQ has been completely sideways for a minute now. Let's see if we wake up a little bit at the opening bell. Again, Yardeni says 5% Treasury yield is the key line. Ed Yardeni isn't alarmed by surging global bond yields, yet he expects the 10-year Treasury yield to remain within a 4 to 5% range without hurting the economy or earnings. But with the year yield near 4.73%, he's watching bond vigilantes closer. A move above 5%, apparently, according to him, could raise concerns, although he does expect strong buyer demand at that level. All right, guys, here's the market on open data at about a minute and 20 seconds. Let's see if we actually move from this. The NASDAQ has been all but flat so far. S&P is looking a little bit weaker, and NVIDIA is still testing some of these lows of the day or getting close to it. MU is rebounding a little bit. SanDisk is rebounding a little bit as well. So we do have some memory rebounds heading into the market on open data. We have 1 minute until that happens. All right, we're at 693s here on the NASDAQ, so we did just flush down here. Market on open data drops in 45 seconds. Let's see if we move from it. But look at the NASDAQ start to turn quickly back towards these low levels. 30 seconds into the market on open data. Yeah, oil is interesting. I mean, look, we have more escalation potential. It's starting to rebound back up as well. Oil's back up to 84.60s. It does correlate with some of these drops. Again, I see news, I don't know if this is it, but I see news that Trump discussed cooperation between UAE and the U.S. in ways to further strengthen ties in support of mutual interest. NASDAQ is starting to drop a little bit here, though, closer to these low levels, and oil is starting to rise here. Look at oil. So oil is rising. Here's the market on open data right now. Still starting to head down, but oil did just jump up. Again, I don't know why that news I read would move oil higher. UAE president receives phone call from the US president, but oil did just pop. NASDAQ's testing lows. 680 is the low now. Big isolated low here too. So 680s, a lot of people watching that. But getting much closer to this now with less than 5 minutes ahead of the opening bell here. Again, we're down to 683s. NASDAQ getting close to this low of the day here after the market on open data. But again, oil is simultaneously pumping up. NASDAQ just cracked lows at 680, 679s now on the NASDAQ. Looking much weaker here. Oil starting to jump still. This is a dip, DCA mode activated. Look at oil though. Oil's back up to 85s basically right now, close to it. 84.80s. Yeah, all the grifters are here seeing what the news is. There's not really any news aside from Trump discussed cooperation between the UAE and the US in ways to further strengthen ties in support of mutual interests. But outside of that, hold on. I see that the IEA or the IAEA confirmed a strike resulting in 16 casualties, including 1 fatality and 3 serious injuries among staff. This is a drone strike. But there's some volatility ahead of the open. We got 2.5 minutes here, chat. 2.5 minutes. Nvidia's down. Hey, let me put this thing in sub-only mode. Alright, so the NASDAQ just tapped that low and started to rebound. There's oil. NASDAQ at 670s. Hey, thank you, my friend. Thank you, yo. Appreciate the sub, my friend. Thank you, brother. We're at 29,700s here. Alright, here we go. We got 2 minutes left until the opening bell. Hey, what's up, Lion? How you doing, dude? If you haven't already, again, Take Profit has 50% off right now. They changed from 5 days to 3-day pass, uncapped payouts once funded over the daily buffer. So again, they might be the way right now on Take Profit. I'm definitely going to scoop some of these up, most likely. And again, you can check them out right here. Use code BGT at checkout. Great way to help support the channel. NASDAQ up to 29.7s. Hey, thank you, Drop, for becoming a member, my friend. Thank you, brother. We're back up to 29.7s. We have 1 minute ahead of the open. 1 minute. NASDAQ hit all-time lows. You've got to be joking. All-time lows would be what? 0? 1? All right, we're at 29,700. Let's see if that level holds on the NASDAQ. We got 50 seconds left until the opening bell, guys. 50 seconds. Did I say all-time lows? If I did, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Lows of the day is what I meant to say. Oil did quickly pull back here. All right, here we go. 20 seconds, 25 seconds. That 29,700 level that we talked about earlier rejected again here. We're about 10 points down from it now, heading into the opening bell. Did I say it, Brian? My bad, dude. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and here's the bell. The bell might be loud. There's the bell. NASDAQ just cracked lows right at the opening bell, and it's continuing to fall here. So we did crack lows right at the opening bell. Look at the red so far at the opening bell on the NASDAQ here. The NASDAQ is breaking down. Nvidia is falling down here, but we've kind of retraced a little bit. MU starting to bounce a little bit at the opening bell. That's now driving, you know, somewhat of a retracement here. But the NASDAQ did just crack the low of the day at the open. Looks weak, but again, SanDisk and MU are bouncing back here today. Nvidia is starting to push down, though, but SanDisk and Memory Place, DRAM names are bouncing back some. But we did just crack that low at the open. Microsoft's continuing its sell-off here. It's down to 480s, but the NASDAQ is going a little green. Again, MU, SanDisk, memory names rebounding, and then Nvidia is kind of retracing back up, so it's kind of showed a lot of green here. Look, up to 715s. Let's watch 725s. It's right around the 200 exponential. I'm tempted to short it here because we like 725 so much, but it is too close to the opening bell. So even though, you know, I'm watching this level right here, 725, 730, 200 exponential, it's too close to the opening bell, and the volume's too high to really be perfect here. But maybe we do dip at this level. We're watching it. It's just a little bit too close to the opening bell for me to mess with here, unfortunately. So yeah, look, we've droned what we're watching. It's a little too early for me to trade, and it looks like it's the right move because we just popped right over it. Do y'all have rules for trading the opening bell? Mine is don't trade the first 5 minutes, 4 minutes. The dump was from a tweet. Well, we got the tweet earlier. Look at the NASDAQ rise. Okay, so the president did just tweet. You're actually correct here. Right at the opening bell, the president tweeted this. He said, there are no talks or conversations going on or scheduled with Iran. The naval blockade remains in full force. The Hormuz Strait is open and operating. All mines have been removed. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So that was why the drop happened. Again, the president said no conversations or talks going on or scheduled with Iran. Naval blockade remains in full force. The Hormuz Strait is open and operating. All mines have been removed. That's essentially what happened at the opening bell. You are correct. At first, I was like, man, opening bell was a little red. We bounced back pretty fast from it, though. But that is what happened. We did have a tweet this morning right at the opening bell. I wonder if it was intentional timing here. But you are correct, Juan. Yep. NASDAQ starting to head back down here. Oil jumping up. I mean, obviously this looks bearish. I'm tempted to short a bounce here. What are we, 3 minutes into the day, though? So I gotta wait. Look at this red candle here. I don't know if this is from the tweet or not. It probably is. But look at the NASDAQ just crack lows. Again, no talks going on. Naval blockade remains in full force. No conversations going on. No conversations scheduled. Hormuz open, he says. I'm really tempted to short a bounce. At least the move is right at the opening bell here. Like, what I can't appreciate is that instead of the news happening when I'm in a trade in pre-market, it happens when I can't trade in the first 5 minutes. Like, I'm not allowed to trade according to my rule set in the first 5 minutes. At least it's then. You know? I can respect it a little bit more because it's not influencing my trades. But we are down now. NASDAQ cracking lows here today at the opening bell. Yeah, red for sure. Does that mean there are talks going on? No, there's no talks. He said there are. Does that mean talks are going on? Oh, okay. Maybe you meant this as a joke. Like, hey, he says that, you know, taco kind of thing. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I believe that the president is less likely. The U.S. side is less likely to lie about something like this. Because it benefits them if talks are going on. It benefits sentiment if talks are going on. Microsoft breaking down here. Just cracked lows of the day. I'm tempted to short a bounce here, though. But in more optimistic news, SanDisk, MU, SK Hynix are green since the opening bell. They're not green enough to make me super excited here. But they're somewhat green. I might look at like 7.5 as a short. We're almost to that now. A little risky, though. What time is it? Okay, I can't trade. Well, there's 700s. Maybe I can target that as well. Ah, 700s. Okay, now we have a big candle back up here. Here's 725s again. Is this a news-driven candle? Where's oil? All right, so we ripped right back up. Nvidia just rebounded back up. Yeah, look, there's that 725 level holding again here. Again, a lot of this is driven by Nvidia, though. Nvidia very strong. You know, since the opening bell, got up to 220s. Microsoft's still kind of weak, though. 725 has been a level here, though. I think I shorted this. Let's see what happens. I am short right now. We can hold this flat now with the rest, though. Take a little piece off there. Let's see if he drops some more. That 725 level. Yeah, there we go. right, we're out. Right before Nvidia gets to that 200 exponential here. Yeah, the president said, again, quote, "There are no talks or conversations going on or scheduled with Iran. Naval blockade remains in full force in effect. The Hormuz Strait is open and operating. All mines have been removed. Thank you for your attention to this matter," end quote. 725 and the 200 exponential still holding here, though, on the NASDAQ here. So, like, look, here's 725s. Just roll it over a little bit. MU's still okay. Nvidia's still okay, though. We got a really obvious opening range again like we had yesterday, so maybe that means we're going to hold better. But we do have an obvious range here. Here's the 200 exponential. 725 has worked enough. Eventually it gets chipped away, though. Like, the more times we test it, the higher likelihood it's actually going to break, unfortunately. Still holding firm, though, right around that 725 level right now. I'm not going to take it this one, though. I don't want to trade against the strength that we show in here. We're now over it here. Let's see if it acts as support now with a retest. Here's the retest. Maybe not. If we get pushed back into it, maybe I'll short. But we're kind of at a high volume area. Yeah, the retest didn't work. Again, my hands are kind of off at this. I wouldn't mind shorting this right now, but you got to watch what MU and Nvidia are doing. Nvidia still seems okay. Hey, later, Brian. Have a good day, brother. I'm not really adding to Nike right now. I'm just kind of leaving it alone. I don't... again, like, look. My average price at Nike is 50. So, I mean, we're down, but it's not a huge position. So, I'm probably just leaving it alone. I'm not really pushing super heavily into it. Too much risk there, you know. Everybody hates on my Nike trade, you know. Nobody talks about me entering Apple at 250s, Coca-Cola at 60s, Netflix at 60s, Microsoft at 380s, Nvidia at 190s, which is probably a little late for Nvidia, PayPal at 40s. Target at 86. Target's at 152 right now. Hey, nice green light. Hey, I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you, dude. Yeah, here's strength showing up. Bitcoin at 30K. I wish, dude. I mean, I made money on Bitcoin and then I got out. Yeah, I'm still in a little bit, but all right, NASDAQ coming down. We're at 75s or 75s. 750s could act as support. I mean, the trend is up right now since the opening bell. A lot of this is due to chips rebounding here. Microsoft rebounding some. MU going up a little bit. SanDisk going up a little bit. Lone Wolf. What's the best advice to start investing at 50? 50 is a little bit trickier. If you're imminently retiring, it's a different story, right? Like the big edge in investing long term is that stocks generally go up long term. Even if we crash in between, even if we have corrections in between, if you invest in indices like indexes like the Nasdaq, the S&P, the Dow, generally speaking, long term they're going to go up. The only time you shouldn't have that sentiment is if you're about to imminently retire, because if you get stuck in a crash while you're retiring and you can't really invest anymore, then that's a rough spot, right? You also don't have as much time to let the money work for you. Investing at 50 is still valid and justified, I think, but a little bit more risks starting that late. If you got 10, 15 years and that's when you're worried about your money, you know, taking your money out, you still got time probably, but it's definitely not as easy or, you know, risk-free. I'm really tempted to buy this right here at 740s, but I'm worried 740. Sometimes we get this where it looks really bullish and then we just pull back and dump down on everybody here. So I'm going to look at the 200 exponential down here. Maybe I'm not going to get it. All right, we'll start right here and then add to this level and then see if we can make a little bit more. I want to add down to 725s again in the 200 exponential, but the problem though is that a lot of the longs start to get squeezed out here. Yeah, exactly what I said I was worried about happened, unfortunately. So we're just going to cut it and wait now. I think Nvidia started to dip down strong. Kind of a big opening range, so we might have an orb setup that we could capitalize on. We'll see. Back to the middle range here. Yeah, we might be getting it a chop. Yeah, we're right in the middle range here, so I don't know if I can really trade this. Here's the Nasdaq. Let's see if we got any news that might be pushing markets down quickly. Look at the breakdown quick here. So we're starting to reverse. Very quick drops. MU, SanDisk, Nvidia, all turning around. Yeah, we might just be sweeping liquidity at this point in time. There's 700s. I want to see if 700 rejects. A little rejection there. All right, so I just jumped in. 700 did reject, so we got it right around there. We got 3 contracts left. We're up about 150 on the last little bit. I'll take one more off here. See if we start pushing towards that low. We can hold the rest. We're gonna maybe hold the rest flat. But I'd like to see a breakdown here. We got a good entry and the momentum just switched to the downside fast. We'll take the other piece off. I might add back on a bounce back. I'm not sure. I just want to see how much this downward momentum continues. If we get up to 675, maybe I can add to that. That's the volume profile on Trade Evade Visual Ghoul. But I gotta watch this trade. But you go to chart settings and you go day volume profile right here on the little rectangle. All right, so here's a bounce. I might add a, oh dude, I didn't get a chance to add. I wanted to add around 675s. We only have one micro left, so I can give this some time here, but I don't know if I like 675s as much now. There's another chance. An oil tanker docked at the Caspian pipeline loading buoy signaled that the facility is resuming operations after nearly 9 months of inactivity, according to Bloomberg. I'm going to add a little bit more here. And then again, we're going to hold this break even if it doesn't work. I just want to see if this downward momentum continues. Nvidia is at 220s though, so like it could start bouncing if semis start to bounce. I'll set a stop here now. 687s. We're getting kind of close to that, but hopefully we reject fast. No, you're good, Visual. You're good, dude. I'll ban spammers, but only if I've never seen them before and they start saying some like some dumb stuff. You're good. All right, there we go. We did get a rejection back down here. I'm gonna take a little bit more off, and then we're gonna get rid of the stop. Set another stop a little bit lower now. Just trail it down. See if this red continues. Very small on the rest. We've scaled out of most of it today. We're up a lot. I've done some trading off stream. Ugh. It's just easier to manage with less pressure, but to be honest, but once we jumped on the red rejection at 700s, that's what made this more clean. All right, we're back down to the lows here. I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here at this low level and just get out and exit the stop. So we're up a good bit today, about 450. We got a cushion now. I don't know if I'll probably push a little bit more. Add on what, my G? You're speaking too fast. Which stocks are you adding on? I'm trading futures, the NASDAQ. I was shorting it. And so we got in short around 700s here. Like we talked about 700s and 725s all morning. Those were some of the bigger levels that I'm watching. And so this is where we got in our other short here. Right around here. I don't know exactly where we entered. But we shorted, and then on the bounce back we added to it, and then we covered right around here. I don't like low of the day test. I like the range to it. So still pushing towards lows. Yeah, drop. I don't even know what that is, dude. Alright, we're still fading down under 650s. All right, we're still looking weak here. Nasdaq still breaking down quick. Let's see if we hold, but what do we have at 10 a.m.? We have some type of news at 10 a.m. It's not big news. I think it's like pending home sales. Yeah, pending home sales in 8 minutes. 0.1% expected month over month. Also, if you haven't already, give me a follow on x.com at beginner trades. Here's the link. I haven't posted in a while, but here's the link. I'm going to start doing my morning market brief again. Check it out. Yeah, Netflix is going up. Nah, you're good, cool. Meta down. Yeah, Microsoft's still a little volatile here. Still looking bearish here, though. We're close to the lows. So many shorts are getting in here, though. I get worried about liquidity sweeps on the upside and just pushing us higher. Meta? Yeah, Meta's down under 550s. Nvidia rejected the VWAP as well, pushing down under 220s right now. I might drag the Nasdaq down and break lows. Here's what it looks like. Maybe not, but... You guys red or green so far today? I'm very green. You love to see it. Nasdaq very close to lows. $630s. We're right at lows of the day. Shorting bounces. Shorting bounces has worked a lot. We got into one bad trade up here on the long side, and then we just had this huge breakdown. But once we saw all these big red candles that we broke under kind of the mean here, the median, I figured these weak candles are going to get some shorts involved and might squeeze out even more longs. And so then we sweep back down. And so like another thing that might work, there's the low of the day break, is that like, okay, I'm trying to think of the easiest way to put this. When you have a really obvious long setup that fails like this, right? Like a kind of a red to green move, kind of like a cup and handle breakout that fails. Taking the other direction makes a lot of sense because a lot of those longs that got really optimistic about that green setup get squeezed out and that pushes us down faster. There's the Nasdaq still falling though. Nvidia still correcting to the downside. Nvidia just cracked the lows of the open and really I think the lows of the day at 219.50s for Nvidia. So Nvidia just turned. That's dragging the Nasdaq down here. Very red. I'm in stocks. Yeah. I mean, I'm in stocks as well. My stock portfolio is actually slightly green here. It's mostly being helped by Coca-Cola, Netflix. So I'm actually a little green in stocks today. Not a lot, though. AMD. Yeah, AVGO, Microsoft, Nvidia starting to turn here. I mean, it looks short, obviously, but I think it's almost too easy right now. I don't know if there's enough meat on the move. An advisor to Iran's supreme leader says Iran remains committed to logic and dialogue, but will not equate negotiation with surrender, end quote. Fars News reporting. Oil still at 84s. Nasdaq up to 650s. Nvidia rebounding quick too. it's somewhat positive. I don't think they can say, like, in terms of strategy, I don't know if they're going to say, hey, we can return to dialogue, because I think they know that's going to help oil go down, markets react well. I think they have to balance it. So they have to say, hey, we remain committed to logic and dialogue, ... but we will never surrender, and so, yeah. NASDAQ still flushing down. We're at 630s. We did a poll this morning. We said, does the NASDAQ bounce back and break 30K today? 57% say no. It's looking like y'all are right so far, at least today. All right, again, the NASDAQ at 29,640s. Microsoft still dipping some. We're at 480s. It looks like a short. I mean, obviously, right? The problem is that we're down enough to where it's definitely not a given, and it's definitely less obvious. But again, going back to this strategy, guys, I mean, look, I hope this makes sense here. The reason we jumped back in short is because we had like a really obvious cup and handle move, like V-shaped recovery move. So a lot of people right around here, 200 exponential, 725, thought we were going to get a big bounce up, including myself, right? I thought we were going to get a big bounce up. And so when we just slammed through that level here, right? We just slammed through that level right here. What happens? You got these big red candles. Everybody says, oh no, and they start selling because they got faked out here, including myself, right? But then everybody starts to piggyback off of that. Now we get shorts that jump in, we get longs that get squeezed out, and this causes this quick downward momentum here. We get back into this range. I don't know what we're gonna do here now, though. I'm still watching 700s here. I'm watching 725s up here, but we're ways away from that now, and the trend is certainly red here. We could go like this. Watch 600s. Seems like a level to pay attention to. All right, so here's pending home sales in 10 seconds. I don't think these are moving markets. They're expected at 0.1%. Last time they were negative 5.4%. They ended up showing up right now at negative 2.3%, weaker than expected pending home sales. Negative 2.3% pending home sales. I don't know if this is going to move markets, but again, pending home sales showed up at negative 2.3%, chat. Negative 2.3. I don't know. Pending home sales are kind of mixed. Negative 2.3, weaker than expected for sure. They expected, again, 0.1% positive. They showed negative 2.3% instead. So weaker pending home sales for sure. We'll see if this moves anything. And the NASDAQ's getting close to the lows of the day here. Oil just fell. Again, pending home sales negative 2.3. NASDAQ at 630s. It looks weak here. I just don't know if I trust it enough. Now, we got a good cushion on the day. I got to wait for something. Pending home sales negative 2.3%. NASDAQ still close to these lows. Is anybody buying this dip? Yeah or no? Yes or no? Again, Nvidia is still looking weak, but it's starting to get a little bit more steady here. It could rebound. I'm looking at MU and SanDisk as well. They're all doing the similar thing, but Here's a big bounce back to over 670s for a little while. Whoa, 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 whoa. What was that? That was a swing quickly here. I don't know what that was. 700 though, man. I wanted to short 700, but this happened way too fast. I just couldn't really catch it watching that 700 level. Somebody did for sure, yeah. As soon as I say, are you buying the dip? Somebody bought the dip right there. Yeah, I wanted 700s, we just didn't get it. Nvidia's breaking over the 200 exponential and the volume weighted average price right now, so I'm not going to take a short there either anymore. But we'll watch it. We'll see if I miss out. Nvidia's starting to bounce back. It's up to 220s. There's 700s again right here. I don't like the retest of it. The retests are a little bit less follow-through driven. And maybe I'll miss out on it here, to be honest, on a short right here, but... Ooh. Talked myself out of shorting it. Maybe it's still too early. This could still rebound back up. Yeah, Pedroza, you were right, dude. Scared John. Definitely scared John. I think sometimes you gotta fear the market, though. You gotta be worried about stuff, but still too early. But maybe that was my second test of 700. We've been talking about 700 all day. People are paying attention to it. 725s as well, but yeah, you know, if I decide not to take a short, I want it to just fly up. Like, I want to break all-time highs over and over again afterwards. So... yeah, 700, dude. You don't love to see it, man. You don't love to see it, but that's all right. It gives me confidence in my level drawing ability. Top 3 greatest levels ever, and I missed it. It's okay. I might cry about it later. We'll see. Yeah, 700 was that spot. I could reshort into this, but I don't like that as much. We could just start ranging sideways now. I don't know. And remember, guys, Take Profit right now has 50% off. I think it lasts for a week. The 50% off. They also updated them to where they moved it from 5 to 3 days to pass. Uncapped payouts once funded over the daily buffer. And so again, if you haven't already, check it out. Take Profit today. Today might be the day to check them out. Here's the link. You can get 50% off if you use my code BGT at checkout. There's the link right there. Great way to help support your boy here on the channel. Make me feel better about missing that 700 short. Yeah, last week had my number 2 Stoic. I don't know what the heck happened last week, but this week's better. Time to short oil. I think oil's too sideways for me to short right now. Plus the geopolitical dynamic makes it a little bit sketchier. I mean, I think you could short an S-Max, right? But shorting it long term would basically be betting that the conflict ends short term. Mm. $650 just broke. I'm gonna draw 650 here just so I remember to watch this. Sideways range, yeah. Hey, nice tiny. Hey, that's great. I still got the mugs somewhere. I don't know where they are, but we still got them somewhere. Yeah, I mean, we're heavy. Markets seem heavy. Nvidia is still breaking down. Nvidia cracked 220s again under the 200 exponential, under the VWAP. Looking more bearish now. Microsoft's flat, though. Memory names, I believe, are down, too. Yeah, memory names are down since they opened and since yesterday. SanDisk down, MU down, SK Hynix down. Spacex down. I'm watching 650 for a short here. It's a little greedy of a short, though, I think. But if I do take it, it's going to be small size. Maybe we'll short 650. It looks pretty bearish here, though, to be honest. But maybe we'll short 650 if we get back up there. Maybe. We might not get it. Yeah, Netflix up to 78s. Yeah, it looks really heavy here. All right, here's the low of the day test again. There's a crack. We're at 603s. There's a break. Just broke lows on the NASDAQ under 600s. This isn't getting boring. This is actually not boring at all. NASDAQ's cracking lows with momentum. Usually I cut out of here, but again, NASDAQ's cracking lows. You know. Broke lows again, 580. Let's look at some levels. I'm gonna have to go back a little bit, put a longer term chart up. We have this little level right here, but the real level I think is at 500s. We have this a little ways away. We're 50 points away. Maybe we got another one at 580 here. But 500 I think is the larger level. So let's see if we hold that level we just drew at 580s. This level's meant to be here. Let's see if 580 keeps us up. Yeah, Nvidia cracking down, broke lows of the day, 219s for Nvidia. Still at that 575, 580 level though. $570s now. I mean, we have 550 here. just shorter term. But once we get that, I think the market's going to be eyeing 500s. Yeah, that happened right at the opening bell about the president's social post. Where I mean, I don't know. People are interpreting this mix though. Like if you watched it at the opening bell, we dropped initially from this quote and then rebounded back up. It depends on, you can isolate whichever side you want. And one side you could say, hey, there are no talks or conversations going on, and that's bad. Or number two, you could isolate, hey, the Hormuz Strait is open and operating, and that's good. You know. Now everything's subject to interpretation. But I mean, markets have fallen. Not just from this though, from chip breakdowns, Nvidia, you know, MU, SanDisk dropping, software's up, AI's down. Anyway. I don't know what to do here. 550 is my take profit, Steve. Hey, good luck, dude. Oh, we tapped the short-term moving average here. 600 could, you know, looking at a big whole dollar number. Not a big one, but it's not enough. It's too short. You could look at 625 here for a rejection right here. We got confirmation in that level, more than like 6. But I don't know if I want to bet on the short side right now. We've already dropped a lot, but I'm green. I'm up like 450 or something like that. Yeah, with support right here, that's why I'm looking at it for resistance. It's not a lot of, like, this isn't necessarily like a big move though here. Like, you would basically be betting that we'd move back down to the lows of the day, and I think we're down enough, but I think the momentum's on the downside. It's just a little bit sketchier here, obviously. So VWAP's at 768 right now, so the VWAP's way up here. There's 625s. Again, it could reject this previous support, could turn into resistance, and we could keep trending down. That's what happened at our 620, what was it, 725 level up here earlier. We jumped on the short side around there, but maybe I'll regret not taking 625s now. Yeah, I've shorted enough today. I've made enough. I don't. This is 2 times in a row here, guys. Twice in a row. Dude, we called the exact top. Not the exact, but like here's 625s. Twice in a row. It's happened. It gives me confidence in like the level building, but John the Wimp. Scared John. He's a small fish in a big pond. Scared John. It's all right. Honestly, it wasn't that big of a move down, but we dropped 25 points, 30 points down after hitting it. Scared John is green. No, I am green. No, I'm very happy with today. That's why I'm not as aggressive now, since I've already built the profit on the day. Yeah, and honestly, at least we went right back up there. You know, you can watch 650 now as well, though, but running into kind of this big support area right here that we hit. Hey, where's my volume profile? Ugh. Ugh, excuse me. Ugh. Alright, there we go. Sorry, guys. I sneezed. Hey, thank you, Learn and Enjoy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I turned the camera off so that realistically, I mean, if I'm being honest, so if I snot all over myself, y'all aren't like, ugh, you know? I'm a very private sneezer. I need privacy when I sneeze. Is what I'm saying. Let's see about 650s. Oh, it was. I have very violent sneezes. Do I want to short 650s here is the question. I don't know. Maybe I should have shorted 650s. Yeah, I'm probably done for the day. I think I'm gonna go ahead and close it out, guys. Again, if you want to check out Take Profit, they do have, again, 50% off right now. They recently updated some of their rules to be more favorable as well. 5 days past, changed to 3. Uncapped payouts once funded over the daily buffer. For Take Profit. A great way to help support the channel. You can use code BGT, Beginner Trading BGT at checkout. Get the max discount for Take Profit. I'll put the link up one more time. Y'all check them out. Apex also has the cheapest accounts in the game. If you like cheap accounts and you want to learn, they might be a good option. Lucid has great funding rules, process payouts quickly. Man, 650 or 640s rejected cleanly. Nasdaq's starting to turn though. Let me see if this is... Let me check, hold on, real quick before we close it down. Atlanta Fed GDP now 4.03%. Previous was 4.31%. Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 41. Regular Fear and Greed Index at 55s out of 100. Yeah, Fed minutes tomorrow. Y'all be safe. Have a great day. Again, use code BGT. You can use it on Lucid, Apex. All the links are in the description. Check them out. We appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much. And again, Take Profit might be the way right now. Very cheap. Again, they have 50% off right now. I think it's lasted for like a week, so check them out. Love to everybody here. Y'all be safe. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Fed Minutes tomorrow and more live at 2 p.m. Appreciate everybody joining me today. And y'all have a red day. Are y'all red or green before I close the day? Are y'all red or green? Are you red or green today, guys? Let me know. Later, chat. Have a good day. Red? Red? Good? Red? Dude, everybody's red. Dude, yesterday... Green, green, extremely red. Green from crypto, slight red for now. Crypto, red, inactive, green. Honestly, it was an easy day to short and make money. But I appreciate the love, guys. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe. Have a great day.